campaign or my petitions on the radio. First of all, I really never did. I never mentioned my son before going out. But why? Why can't I talk? Again, Mr. Yeager's trying to hold back my freedom of speech, my right as a citizen. Forget as a Jew. Forget as a fellow brother. Forget as an activist. But anyways, I'm hoping tomorrow to get it done. I am going out. I'm in the field every day, as you guys know, on the independent line. So come out and sign for me. A Democrat or Republican can sign. We're all over Borough Park and Flatbush and Midwood. Come find me. If you need to call me, here's my campaign, heshytishler.com. Or you can just call the show, but heshytishler.com, and my phone number is 718-288-7844, and I'll tell you where the people are with their signatures, and you can go sign a petition for me to get me on the ballot. This time, I don't want 2,000 signatures. I want 3,000 to 4,000 signatures. Come on out, guys. Come on. Are you serious for a change or not? I'm going to read you the quote. Or if you want to have whatever you want. I mean, again, it's not that it doesn't bother me. It bothers me because I have people that are complaining, and I'm going to tell you what's going on, and nobody's doing anything about it. I know I'm crying and bitching and complaining, but that's what I do when people come to me all day long with the dumbest of problems and serious issues, and I solve them time after time again. And why do you come to me when you should be going to Yeager, but everybody doesn't go to him? Because he doesn't do anything. So I'm going to be on the ballot. I'm going to be on the independent line. I'm going to counter-sue him only on the conservative line. The Democrat, Republican, I can't. By the way, as you know, recently was Passover. Pesach, I don't work on the holidays. You're not allowed to work. You're not allowed to have anybody work for you. I mean, you do volunteer work. And the Seder night, when I was sitting at the Holy Seder with crying to God where Mr. Yeager should be, his lawyer served me with papers to knock me off the ballot and submitted the forms in the Board of Elections at 11:55 p.m. Then on Friday, the Sabbath, he then went to state court and did it again. I mean, if this is the Jew that you want, if this is the guy you want to represent you, I have no problem. But he's actually claiming he's religious, and he's broken every rule. Forget cheating on his wife and all that other stuff. But we won't even talk about that low life. Anyways, we're not going to stop talking about it because, Mr. Yeager, you want to debate? I will debate you. I know I can debate you because you're a dumbbell. I mean, really, I used to like you. Because why? Because I like dummies, and you are a dummy. And I didn't feel that. I thought maybe you had some brains, but I see you don't. Anyways, we're gonna do our a quote and joke of the day so we can start the show. And I have so much to tell you, and something that you're gonna freak out because even Linda was scared for the first time in 30-something years about something that I did, and I want to tell you about it. Here's my quote of the day: "There are many qualities that make a great leader, but having strong beliefs, being able to stick with them through popular and unpopular times, is the most important characteristic. I don't even know how to say the word characteristic. Who knows? Of a great leader." I guess my characteristics are not that great. Leaders need to be optimists. Their vision is beyond the present. Now, the reason I read you this quote, it's from one of our ex-mayors, Mayor Giuliani, one of the greatest mayors we ever had. You have to be able to see the future. You have to be able to go against the leaders who feel that they're right and while the people are being subjugated and tyrannized. I went against them during COVID. I was right. Everybody said I was wrong. I went against them on the wedding halls. I told you that the people are not going to die from transmitting diseases. Now you see the news reports telling you that COVID was a lie, that it wasn't transparent. The vaccines were dead. One story after the next. I'm right across the board. And you know what? They're giving credit to who? Not to me. Not that I care even. I don't even care. But again, I saw it. I am a person that is, what is the second quote? I'm an optimist. The visions, I see the future. When I have somebody in trouble, I know he's dead. We're in trouble and we see all the fires burning. But I'm looking at the end of the tunnel. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. There has to be a way out. And that's what I do. I'm going to give you my joke. I hope it's good. Nobody here to laugh. Well, it'll be me. Here it goes. My rabbi, we were recently in the synagogue, and my rabbi stood up before our congregants after the prayer services. which were like 2 hours. And he said, I have so much to say, I don't know where to begin. I shouted, how about somewhere close to the end? Well, I thought it was funny. A lot of people turned around with their little eyes looking at me, but I know they were laughing inside, you know. Come on, they didn't want to sit there for another hour's speech. Anyways, here's the real joke, okay? As you know, I always complain about Linda, my wife, with her smart remarks to me and always giving me advice. So recently, Linda had an attack of laryngitis, and really, she lost her voice completely for 2 days. That was really great. So we had a problem to communicate. I devised a system of taps. And I said, Linda, 1 tap means give me a kiss. 2 taps means yes. 7 taps means no. And I said 95 taps mean take out the garbage. You know what that means? That she's not going to tap 95 times. Well, I thought that was funny when I did it with her. You know what I mean? I mean, she didn't think it was funny. But anyways, it was quiet for 2 days in the house. And even when she tried to bother me during television time, I didn't hear her. Okay. Well, I like that joke anyways. Anyways. I want to do a little quick advertisement for my friend who never shows up anymore, Ezra Levy, and you'll see his number below me on the screen. Ezra Levy, attorney at law, Esquire, specializing in all criminal matters, including weapons possession, drug offenses, domestic violence, theft offenses, assaults, DWIs, criminal and family court, order of protection. 917-755-1187, 917-755-1187, Ezra Levy Law Firm at gmail.com, EZRALEVYLAWFIRM at gmail.com. He's really very good. 917-755-1187. To most of my listeners, we are on social media, on YouTube and Facebook, and I do my daily videos on Twitter and Instagram. I tried to go live today, but it didn't work. You're all able to chat with me live on YouTube. There's a live chat there. I know Facebook has comments, but I don't really look at the Facebook comments because I still don't know what I'm doing. But soon, as we get into the election campaign more heavily and we set up our office is more complicated and I get more of a staff than just me and my producer, we're going to be more technically advanced. But yeah, our race is coming serious. We are ahead in the polls serious. I mean, I don't want to be cocky about it, but again, people know me. People know I do the job. People know from the police to the fire departments, even though I argue with them, the building departments, the inspectors. I did this week already. It's Wednesday. I did 4 inspections. Beautiful pass. I had 1 objection, and I got angry because it wasn't followed, and I told them about it. I am not an expert at what I do, but I'm responsible at what I do. I am, of course, an expert, but being responsible for your job and reviewing it and trying to look at all the links, that is what it is. And that's why when I become city councilman, you will see responsibility. What I want to tell you now is something very bad. Today's video, I was at the homeless shelter, and I took me and Linda took some food packages over there. We had, some leftover sandwiches. We made a little bit of chicken cutlets extra. We had a bunch of meat and stuff. And I said, Linda, we just can't keep it here. We have nobody home right now. Let's just cook it up, take it over there and drop it off, and I'm sure they're going to appreciate it. And when I was there and I gave it out, one of the young men, Joseph, I think his name was, he came over to me and we were talking and he wanted a job. And I said, I'm making a video. He says, I'll stand over here. And I put him into the video. He's very cute in today's video, telling everybody who wants to tell everybody to watch my show. So, and he called me brother and stuff. We hugged over there. And I'm really giving him a job. Tomorrow he's going to call me. I'm going to get him a job in the office. I'm going to start him maybe something slow, maybe just to help move boxes around or maybe clean up and maybe teach him how to use the computer if he knows and see what I can do with him. So we have to try to go help our fellow man. So this week, it was Friday, my nephew calls me and he says, Uncle Heshy, he says, there's a young guy sleeping in a garage. I said, what does that mean? He says, well, he hasn't slept in 3 days. He left home a couple of months ago, and he runs back and forth, and his parents want him back, but he doesn't want to go home. He's 17. I said, oh, my God, 17. I called the parents. So I didn't really understand the situation. It takes time for me till I get the story from the parents, from the kid. And finally, I was having lunch with my son and my granddaughters and Linda. And I finally reached the young boy. And I said, come over here, let me feed you. He didn't eat in 3 days. Forget sleep. He had no bed to sleep. We waited for him. I took him into the pizza shop. We gave him some pizza. I packed him up some extra food there. And then I went to the takeout store and I got him some fish and meats. And while I was talking to him, I said, what's wrong with you? He says, I don't want to live at home. I want to party. I said, but what does that mean? He says, I dropped out of school when I'm 15. I don't want to work as a waiter or I don't want to work in a restaurant. I want to be an easy job. I said, everybody does. And I don't need to sleep. I said, what do you mean you need to sleep? Well, there's a whole underground in New York City. There's like an underground club scene. It doesn't only happen Friday or Saturday. There are parties doing all week long. And these kids are in touch with each other. And sometimes there are older vultures, like in their 40s or 50s, that go to these parties. And they pick up these young boys. And he's 19, he's not 17. And these kids go and they sleep with them. They're not bad looking, these women or men, whatever it is. And they have money. And not that they pay for it, but they tell them, come home and you have a place to sleep and crash. And we'll give you some food. And these kids do that. Or they stay up all night and they go on the train or they get robbed. And then the next day they have this scene. And I asked him, I said, don't you need a driver's license? Don't you need money? He tells me, yeah, I just go around asking people for money and they give me. I said, what does that mean? Just give me. And I'll explain to you what he did. I mean, he was so good. I mean, he doesn't really look like a smart kid. And I said, why don't you get a driver's license? He says, I'm getting one. I says, you know, you need like $90 or $100. Maybe I can help you. He says, no, I know the system, how to get it for free. He's getting Social Security money. He knows how to. I said, don't you need an address? No, I have a bank account and we make this and that happen. They know the system. And I'm not talking 2 kids or 100 kids. There's a few thousand of them out there. They know the system and they know that they don't have to work. The young man is from a family of 11. He's lost. His family was too religious. The mother works and the father studies. And they live a pretty good life. But again, 11 children, you get lost in the mix. And he says, I never want to go home. And I got him to go home yesterday. He went home, he did his laundry. He says, yeah, I do my laundry when I can, when I have money. Then he comes out of the car, he says, can I have a couple of bucks? I said, I gave you Friday. What did you do with the money? I spent it. I says, you bought pot. You bought weed with it. He says, my weed is very good, and weed is good. And this is what they are. They smoke weed. They go to parties. There's a whole scene in New York City. There's a whole WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, how they communicate where tomorrow's party is. They're able to sleep at the party or eat over there, and they go from scene to scene to scene. And I'm embarrassed to tell you that I felt so bad for the kid because he called me, Monday night? He says, I'm tired. And he says, the whole weekend that he went partying. I begged him to come to me. He says, no, I don't want to be religious. You're going to be religious. I said, no, you don't have to be religious. He finally calls me Monday night again through my nephew. I'm dead tired. He shows up at my house at 11:30, hungry. I went quickly into the kitchen. I made some fresh chicken cutlets for him. I fed him. He went on to the thing, watching his little YouTube, giggling like a little kid, smoking. I told him he can't smoke pot by me. I wasn't going to stop him from smoking cigarettes. And I made him a beautiful bed, and he passed out. The next morning, I couldn't leave him. Linda said, no, the kid steals. The kid lives on the street. He's dirty. I woke him up next morning. I made him shower. I gave him a toothbrush. And he says, the last time I brushed my teeth was about 6 months ago. I said, really? I gave him the toothbrush. I gave him toothpaste to take home with him, some soap. This is what we're not giving our children mental health. These kids have nowhere to go, so they hang out on the street and they ask other kids their advice. Go to a party, let's go pick up chicks, smoke a joint. We need to have outlets. We need to have drug centers. We need places where these kids can go, even crash for a night. This homeless shelter, even it was in a Days Inn, was disgusting, filthy. Now, usually you know what a hotel room looks like. I don't have to explain it to you people. 2 people in a room, 3 people with your kids, maybe 4 kids, 4 people with the other little kid in the room. I was in this place, 5 people in a room. I mean, it's terrible. And then I saw another room with bunk bed. Wasabi, it's a family. smelling. You can't have other people with you. I understand when we in school, we're roommates, and even then my room used to smell and laugh and stuff like that. I went a couple years ago on vacation with Linda to Puerto Rico, and I rented some nice rooms in a very nice hotel for a wedding. Costed me money. And I got there. My nephews were there. I had to end up taking 10 people with me. And then Linda's sister showed up, and there was no room in the hotel. So Linda's sister had nowhere to sleep. So I put Linda in the same room with her sister. I, the husband, had to move out of the room and sleep with 5 smelly kids, staying up at night, throwing stuff at me, whatever, making noises out of their bodies that you couldn't believe it. And this is my own family. Now, just imagine you with other people and who don't care, who have mental issues, who could attack you or rob you. So they have to sleep in the homeless shelter, he's explaining to me, with his knapsack or his bag, or if they fall asleep, they get robbed. Do you want to sleep like that with your clothes on? And when I put the kid to sleep, he fell asleep with his clothes on. He slept the whole night with his clothes. When I woke him up, I said, "What's going on?" He says, "I sleep in my clothes every night." I said, "Why?" He says, "Otherwise they'll get taken." He says, "And I sleep with the bag." You should have seen the bag was right by his bed, like he was holding on to it, like somebody would come in there and steal it. I said, "You're in a private house." Next morning, I made him shower. I had Linda do the laundry, and Linda was nervous. She didn't want him to stay. And then I had to wake him up and take him with me. I bought him breakfast, and then I started to pack him the leftover food. Now, I want you to hear this. Freshly made at about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Fresh bread that Linda bought during the day. He said he doesn't eat the same meal twice a day, or he doesn't like leftovers. This is a kid who's homeless because of this new underground scene and able to get around. He doesn't want it. He knows the system. I don't know the system that well. When I was driving with him, I said, "Don't you like to have an apartment?" Look at he says, "Oh, you have a small apartment." I said, "You have nothing. You sleep in the park. You sleep in a garage." He says, "Sometimes." And he likes that. I said, "You like the life?" He says, "Yeah. This is the life I like." We're lost. We're lost. And Mr. Adams, here we go. Forget about the homeless. He's busy with the migrants. He's busy with, and I want you to hear what your buddy Adams said. Mr. Adams is now blaming the migrant crisis on President Biden. Now, when the migrants were coming into Texas and all that, and everybody was angry, May Adams gets up, "Yeah, we should take them. We're doing good." And so they start shipping them to New York City. We are now $1.4 billion in the hole this year. What is it, May? From the migrant crisis. $1.4 billion. And the new budget of $107 billion has calculated in it for about $4 billion for the migrants. These guys don't work. As somebody once told me, it's the migrant storage system. Mr. Adams is storing the migrants for someone. I don't know for who, not for me. But the homeless you don't take care of. And I have solutions for the homeless. But he's bringing in the migrants, he's giving them hotels, he's giving them money, and the homeless that really needs your help. Our own citizens, our own veterans are being thrown to the street or made to live in hovel. In squabble, I'm embarrassed to tell you how they live. And I stand there sad because we could fix it. Oh, you're going to ask me, Heshy, what can you do? I'll tell you what I can do. You have a $107 billion budget. We can fix it. First of all, let me go off subject for a minute. There's a bunch of firemen that are upset that the new lady fire chief, the new lady head of the fire department. I don't know how you do that, Mr. Adams. She has no fireman experience. She's not a fireman. How do you make her the commissioner of the fire department? So she demoted 3 of the older firemen. They had to give up the title, which I agree, because if they're old firemen, they can't do the work. We don't really need you sitting in an office on a pension. Retire. Firemen have to retire. You make good money. Retire. If you can't do the job, retire. If you could do the job, don't retire. But we don't need you sitting around because you did serve us. Yes, thank you so much for your service. But we need firemen that are going to collect money, not to run out of money that we can't hire new firemen because you older dudes can't do the job. So you become commissioner. So this new commissioner demoted them. They're suing him for, I think, age harassment, sexual harassment. I'll tell you what these firemen are complaining about. They're complaining about, let's see, what's the proper word? I don't even know what the proper word is. It's somewhere here. I wrote it down. Whatever. They're age discrimination. Age discrimination. Now, you're right. Somebody gets old, you can't fire them. But these firemen are older, so get them a job doing something, but not just being the title of chief and walking around. We don't need you. We have enough of those chiefs. But my problem is the mayor appointed her, and she says now that she's building her own team. Are you crazy? We put you in charge of a problem, not to fire everybody and create a new team and start all over again, and when the next commissioner comes in. That's what people do in business. When we need to make a profit, you don't make a profit. You lose money and you need qualified people there. The fire department cannot have a new team of leaders and new commissioners every couple of weeks, fire everybody and start all over. But she's building her own team, a team that has been in place. Use some of these older dudes that need that. But she's building her own team now. So now everybody's fighting, everybody's arguing, everybody's giving up their place. I'm not knocking that a woman should run a department. But I'm knocking that she never was a fireman. She has no right to be the commissioner. You have no right to be the commissioner of the building department if you have no construction or building experience, even if you are an architect. Yeah, maybe you could be an examiner or something big. But hey, if you want a contractor, builder, an engineer or something of that nature in the field all the time, you have no right to be a commissioner. You have to have field experience in anything you do so you know what the people are like. Even a boss of a construction company, even though he started a company or a restaurant owner or an investor, when you're the head of the company, you have to have experience of that nature or experience in running something of that nature. These guys don't know what they're doing. That's my issue on the migrants. Now, before I go to other local politics, and I have some stuff that I really want to tell you about, the issue with Donald Trump. There's a lady who decided to sue Donald Trump. She said she was raped in 1990. 2000, 10 years, 2010, 2020, 30-something years later, she claims she was raped. Now, I understand sexual harassment. If you're molested, it bothers you right away, 6 months, a year. Nobody knew that she was raped. At least tell a friend, at least bring a witness. Nobody knew it. And now, I can even understand that. It bothered you, you try to put it out of your head, but now she woke up to sue. Okay, because she couldn't sue it criminally anymore due to the statute of limitations. I want to tell you what she did. She claims that she met Donald Trump at the door, and Donald said, hey, you're the advice lady. She was an advice. She gives out free advice to people. Her name is E. Jean Carroll, and she testifies in a battery defamation case. And this is what she says. She alleged that Trump defamed her when he denied her rape claim. Well, what did you think she was going to do? He was going to admit it? Trump raped me, she testifies in the battery. The writer alleges that former President Donald Trump defamed her when he denied the rape claim. Defamed her? Former Elle columnist testifying in a defamation case against former President Donald Trump. And she was almost too frightened to think that during what she alleges was an attack by Trump in a dressing room. And you know what she said? That Trump met her at the door and he lured her. And what he told her was, hey, would you come try on lingerie for my girlfriend so I could buy her a gift? Now, here's a lady who never met Trump. She saw him at the door. She knew who he was. And he says, hey, lady, I never met you before. I know you're famous. Right? Would you come into the dressing room with me and try on the lingerie for my girlfriend? She did. And then she got frightened of him as he raped her. Are you crazy? You walk into a dressing room, you get naked, charging on lingerie for a man that you've never met. And now you're alleging rape. I tell you, people, some people are just crazy. Some people are just nuts. And this lady is completely off her rocker. I love Donald Trump, and I don't think I'm just defending him because he's our president and he will be president again. Because, you know, Biden just announced his re-election campaign. I don't even know how you think he could win. I don't even know how you think he can run the country. I don't know what you think he's done right. Markets are crashing. Banks are collapsing. Yeah, it goes back up because we're fighting for it. We don't want to give up. I go out every day and work even harder than before, not to fold. I'm making less money doing the same job in more hours. And he's just taking us and sucking us. Just like Adams. You don't go from a $90 billion budget to $107 billion. Oh, Heshy, it's only $17 billion. Really? Where do you think he's getting the money? Raising our taxes, raising our tickets, raising our insurances, giving us less services, making more fines. You can't just do that. You've got to cut costs. You've got to show us where you can make a profit. There are government agencies like the building department that make a profit, and not just on fines. Besides the $3 billion they give out, they actually have uses. They make over 100 something. They're number 2 on the money making profitable list of government agencies. You bill for your services, you work, you get organized. Now, a lot of the agents, they're incompetent, a lot of the people over there. But again, this agency has been working on making a profit. And each inspector hates each other. Each commissioner hates each other from every borough. So they try to beat the other. They try to show, hey, I want to be the head commissioner. Besides, there's a commissioner of every borough, then there's a head commissioner above them. And then you have the mayor. And each guy never has no experience. So he's trying to just change policy. Let me talk about my most hated enemy on the planet. No, it's not Kalman Yeager. I think he's an idiot and I hate him. But Andrew Quackamo Cuomo. I want you to hear his complaint. Andrew Cuomo lawsuit says he made a lawsuit. Says ethics agency has no authority to take his book millions. Now, this disgraced governor, he filed a lawsuit arguing Tuesday that the state ethics body lacks the legal authority to take $5 million he made from the controversial book deal. You're a pig. You wrote the book during your job. It doesn't work like that. Oh, you did it at night? So you worked the whole day, you did it at night. Really? You sold the book at night? You promoted the book during your governorship? You know, I was reading over Kalman Yeager's disclosure. I thought everybody said he only makes $180,000. He makes $60,000 by being a treasurer of another campaign. The man does not know how to add, and he's a treasurer. He never practiced law, but he did pass the boards. He hasn't activated his license, so I don't know what he's going to do to activate it after 10 or 12 years after I beat him. Now, he's a treasurer, not once, twice. So he's making money. You're not allowed to do that, but there's some kind of a loophole that he could be a treasurer of another political campaign. His wife or ex-wife got a job working for another councilman or the speaker, and she makes $200,000 more than the councilman. Of course, our councilman gets additional monies for being on committees and stipends and all that, but her base salary beats him. Really? How did she get that job? She wasn't qualified. She's your wife. Anyways, that is our city that's falling apart. You know, and I want to tell you something else. Everybody complains about bail reform, which I'm going to get over there, cashless bail. The state budget, which now is not 212, which $227 billion, she can't get organized. Even that idiot Cracamo always had the budget in on time. She's way behind. She's not organized. And you know what she says? She says, the New Yorkers don't care about the budget. Really? She says, all they care about is bail changes, not the late budget. Sure, we're upset about the late budget because there's a lot of different things, a lot of monies that have to go out for rent or you know, special needs kids programs. All of them are getting stuck. And she says that she's too busy, and you know, the people have me busy. I have the budget. She's fighting bail reform, fighting for affordability, fighting to lift family circumstances. Hey, sweetheart, if you don't know what you're doing, get out of it. You know, people now realize that Cuomo was right. God forbid I'm even saying this. I know you guys are going to get angry. To keep her away from actual responsibilities besides cutting ribbons. Because she served Cuomo as lieutenant governor, and Cuomo said, you're an idiot, so just go cut ribbons. That's all she did under Cuomo's leadership. Now you made her governor? She doesn't know how to run a budget. I remember when she came to Borough Park. She's just an idiot. You should hear her talk and giggle. And the Hasidic men like Ezra Friedlander and all those politicians like Kalman Yeager and all surrounded her and giggled. Giggled what? What do you want to do with her? She's an idiot. She's an idiot. She's not worth anything. I'm going to get into the crime problem in a minute in New York City, and I'm going to tell you about some sad things. You know, there's a guy, I'm going to tell you now, there's a guy that was caught on a cold case murder of 20 years ago. Killed somebody. He killed an NYPD police officer's daughter. He was killing of Megan McDonald, daughter of NYPD detective, and he was freed by the prosecutor's blunder. Now listen to me. He's a murderer. They have everything on him. The upstate man charged with the cold case slaying of the daughter of an NYPD detective was released without bail after the legal gaffe by the local prosecutors. Now, this guy, Edward Harley, who was hit with murder charges last week in the 2003 death of this 20-year-old, will remain free because of the district attorney's office failed to present the case to the grand jury on time. And there's a whole bunch of rules. They never made out the case properly, blah, blah, blah. You forget about a murderer. A man who killed, not just a woman, a policeman's daughter. He got away with it. They let him out. Yeah, another grand jury has to convict him again, but right now he's free. No bail, no following, no nothing. But we spend a lot of money, in the millions, to arrest President Donald Trump for some fake bribery charge, which President Clinton actually paid on national television $850,000 to his girlfriend that slept with him. He slept with Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office. Nothing. And he threatened and bribed her, and she was scared on tape. Nothing ever happened to him. President Trump, who did something before he was even president, this guy, Bragg, is allowing criminals to go free. I want you to hear another story. You're going to love this. A guy, where is it? This really bothers me, this one. He dragged a woman into a alley right in the daytime. Just like that. And he got away with it. Disappeared. Another guy was found stabbed on Marcus Garvey in Brooklyn. Daylight, middle of the day at 2 o'clock. You think we're looking for him? That kid that I was talking about, that I liked, to work in the pizza shop, and I used to meet him, and I helped the family out afterwards. Stabbed during the day while his body rotted the whole night in Brooklyn. They still haven't found, well, the guy turned himself in, but they weren't even looking till I offered the reward and everybody went in, and the guy's going to get away with it. He claims there was a fight, and the guy pulled out his knife, which was not true, and he stabbed him, and he left him for dead, just like my guy got away with it. I don't understand. I don't understand. We don't have leadership in this town. And let me tell you what leadership is. Let me tell you what let me tell you what your leaders are talking about now. You know, the restaurants that have, when you're blind or you need a special dog, you're allowed to take him into the restaurant with you. It's a blind man. Or even if you're sick and you're taking in the comfort dogs, I can maybe understand that. Dogs land FDA ruling on joining owners at restaurants. Now, let me tell you this. I'm sitting in the restaurant with my wife and kid. In comes a man with his dog into the restaurant where I'm eating. A lot of people are allergic to dogs, or I don't want the dog to shake his head. Oh, he's a perfect dog. There's no such thing. He takes the dog and he sits on one side. He puts the dog on the other side. I'm sure the dog is going to use a fork and knife, right? And he's going to get a napkin around him, or they're going to give the dog a bowl, and he's going to lick it right off like an animal. If my kid did that, everybody would be looking. But a regular person can now bring a dog into the restaurant, get him a chair like he's your spouse. And a lot of the dog owners, they love their dogs. They love their cats. And they're going to bring them out to restaurants. They're going to sit in the restaurant next to me while I'm sitting with my kids, and the dog is going to be sitting on a chair eating from a plate. Then that's going to get washed that I'm going to have to eat on later on. I understand you want to do it in your house, and when I see that you have a dog in your house, I'm pretty careful. I say, give me a paper cup, a paper plate. Because I know what you do. You feed the dogs off the plate. I'm going to have to sit in a restaurant where there's a dog sitting on a place. I don't even know what I'm going to talk to myself. I mean, and just imagine that one day all the dog owners make reservations and I'm the only person with a family while everybody has dogs. Maybe somebody will make a reservation for the whole dog family and the guy will be late and just the dogs are sitting there and ordering. I don't even know how the dogs are going to order. Maybe they do pre-orders. I mean, really, I just can't believe that we should have a rule that if somebody does not know how to use a fork and a knife, they shouldn't be allowed into the restaurant, or they should be in a carriage, or special needs. This is what we're busy with. This is what we're busy with. We're not busy with crime. We're not busy with sexual harassment. We're not busy with our budgets. We're not busy with cashless bail. We're not busy with the police and firemen. They now became inspectors. They're busy deciding what's safe and not safe. That's not your job, Mr. Fireman. I'm going to fight with you again and again and again. Go put out fires. Policemen will go stop crime. Building department people will come building department. If it's really unsafe, it's not for you to determine. This guy I fought with last week, this lieutenant, I felt it was not safe. I called the building department. I said, it's not your job. The owner said it's safe. Don't go back in there. Oh, if there's a fire, I have to go. But you know now it's not safe, so don't go. Everybody's doing everybody else's job, and we don't really want to do our own job. For some local news, as you know, this is something funny, again, about my arch nemesis, Crackermo. Yes, Andrew the retard Cuomo. He got his Tappan Zee Bridge named after his father, the Mario M. Cuomo Bridge. Now, I thought you had to go through procedure. A bipartisan bill to rename the Governor M. Cuomo Bridge, the Tappan Zee Bridge, bit the dust by the Assembly on Thursday. Now, it didn't even make it out of committee. You know, the residents of the neighborhood should be allowed to name their bridges. The citizens of New York City should be allowed to name their bridges. Doesn't seem like we can do anything. Everything is up to the people of the Democrat. Again, they're busy naming bridges, busy naming assembly bills. Give it to the people of the local community. Let the local constituents or give everybody a vote on the board. Pick 20 names from independent people or get people to name in names and get a committee to decide which is the best name and then put it up for vote. This is what they're busy with. And he got it to be named after his father. I don't understand what was wrong with the Tappan Zee Bridge. It's in Tappan Zee. It's called the Tappan Zee Bridge. I don't even like the name of the Queensboro Bridge being named the Edward Koch Bridge. You want to honor somebody? Put him on a building. Even though that's stupid. Oh, the Edward Koch building, the Trump building. Fine, do whatever you want. Putting them on bridges. I want to tell you about the crime in New York City. I don't know what to do. Every day I hear people coming to me with issues. Heshy, they broke into my house. Heshy, they broke my car. Heshy, the whole block is going, they slashed the tires. Now, I know that sometimes it could be a local tire store or a local glass shop. Come on, really, people walking around doing it, these have to be professionals because you don't even see them doing it. Usually idiots who do such things, who vandalize, usually get seen or caught, or they get away with one. They break 5, 6, 7, 8. We're not watching. We don't care. We don't have proper patrols. We need more protection. Now, my neighborhood in Borough Park, Flatbush, and Midwood, and some other neighborhoods where they have private organizations that do protection, but now I hear they charge. Now I hear they're charging money to local aid. It's not so much volunteer. You're right, we donate. I always donate to them. But now I have to reconsider. They're making a very nice profit. They're getting very nice salaries. Some of their coordinators are making $300,000-$400,000 a year. You should be volunteering. I understand that you guys need money for cars and gas and tools. getting so much. I mean, I'm not knocking it. Of course, you have to make a living. But if you're not qualified for the job or you don't have the money to do community service, then do only an hour. Do 20 minutes. Like me, I have a job. I have to work to make a living. So, yeah, I do my community service early in the morning before I go to work. I do it at night. I sneak away during the day because I'm the boss. So I'm able to work for another agency. Thursday nights, I pack boxes. I go to the hospital on the weekends. Do it when you can. And there's enough of us to do it. Or don't charge. Or get somebody to replace it. There's 100 others, but sometimes they want the prestige. I'm a chief of this volunteer agency. I have the radio, or I have the coat. It doesn't work like that. And yeah, I'm going to keep complaining. Now, this week, there's been a bunch of news reporters like Carlson Tucker, what's his name? Tucker, I forgot his first name. What's his first name, producer? Carlson, right? And another guy, Lemon, I hate him, from CNN. And a bunch of other reporters being thrown out because they're against the establishment. Something is going on. I know, Heshy, another conspiracy. Something's going on. We don't want you to hear the truth. We don't want you to hear the news. Let's be honest, everybody. Do you think Trump was a better president? You're right, Trump messed up during COVID because he heard the world scream and he stopped, and he could have got there and told everybody jump in the lake and COVID is fake or COVID is real, but don't worry about it. Instead, he fell for their game. I didn't fall for it. Sometimes people say, oh, you're a little Trump, or you like Trump. Of course I'm like Trump, but maybe he's like me. We're two businessmen that fight for what's right. Always. On my local problem here, and I'm not talking about it, I thought there was something only in my neighborhood about the buses. The problem that I have is, one of my old co-hosts, this guy Bumi, nut job, he screams at everybody. I don't agree that the buses should be parked in the streets at night in my parking spots. Each bus takes up 3 spots. Again, I have a solution for that. But we're not doing it. We let that happen. Now, I know we need the buses for the kids. We know we need the buses to pick up the kids. And we know the buses do have time schedules. So that's pretty good. But again, the parking situation is atrocious. You can't just take away 4,000 parking spots in just 1 or 2 neighborhoods. And then if you go across New York City, there's so many other places like that. Long Island, they make you park on a lot. I've said that 100 times. We have solutions. People say, Heshy, what's your platform? My platform is to ease congestion without charging like congestion pricing in the city. And you all know that we're going to pay a toll from driving from 20th Street to 80th Street, driving from downtown to uptown, or uptown to downtown. So our people from out of town will have to pay another toll. And me, when I'm driving in Manhattan, I'm going to have to pay a toll without leaving the city, within my own city. This needs solutions, and there are solutions. There's even parking solutions for the street. You know, they have these double-decker machines they use in private areas. Somebody was showing me a product that he hasn't still perfected, how to make double-decker parking. I said it's dangerous. People could fall down. So I've come up with other ideas how to make enclosures. Anything can happen to anywhere. But again, when you have these parking things or parking meters, instead of having the guy write tickets, have them watch 2 or 3 or 4 blocks. Anything could happen. I got that. So maybe enclose that, since you have the parking spaces there anyways, enclose it just for parking. But it's a very complicated issue, and I'm working on that idea. But there are solutions for parking. There are municipal lots. There are ways to create more parking areas or turn the cars sideways. Chaim Deutsch did that in Brighton Beach. Not every block could get it, but when the cops do it, you have no problems on their blocks. Why can't we do it all over? It'll make more spots. Instead of having people double and triple park, make them park sideways. No such thing as double parking. Have the cops up and run down, but they're not there. Don't allow FedEx and yesterday I was driving on Coney Island Avenue, and I parked there was an open spot, but there was a double parked UPS driver. And I said, and a car couldn't go out. He was trapped by the UPS driver. Somehow he's finagled his way out backwards, and he got out. And I somehow finagled my way in. And the UPS driver gets angry at me. Don't you see me loading boxes? I said, woman, you double parked. People can't go around you at some points. The traffic on the other side is double parked. You're just standing here for like a half an hour while people are struggling and stuck. To drive down a block is 5 or 7 or 10 minutes. And you're bitching to me that you can't move your box. Why couldn't you wait for a regular parking like the rest of us? Why you just, and he doesn't even go to the truck when somebody's stuck. He should be watching as he's loading and going. Open his mouth to me. I felt bad. He's a working man, and I wiggled my way back out, and I went to look for another spot. You think he appreciated it? You think he said, thank you, sir, for being so kind? Not a word. Not a thank you. No, I'm not angry about it. But some people think they're owed, like this homeless kid that I took into my house. He thinks we owe him. He thinks the world owes him. What does that mean, the world owes you? He asked me for money when I told you in the beginning of the show, he asked me for some money. I said, no, I gave you on Friday. I'm not giving you anymore. Like, you should have seen his face. And I was almost ready to reach my hand into my pocket and give him another 20. But I stopped. So on Tuesday, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, Tuesday. I should know it. Tonight's Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, my show. So Tuesday, the Campaign Finance Board asked me to come down because they held back money from my matching funds unless I made a video. They have a real studio. They have a producer. They have a director. They have a prompter. Really professional. You're talking, and they even have a greeter at the door. And the great thing was their snacks. A lot of it was kosher. They have a greeter. They have a secretary there in downtown Lower Manhattan, which is not cheap, all paid by the city. Then this director, and to do these videos. And I said I didn't want to do the video. They said, if you don't do the video, you lose $10,000. So, of course, for $10,000, I had to keep the video under 2 minutes. I had to give them a script. I have to practice it. And they gave me 2 takes. I am a pro. Just imagine the other ones who are not pros, and they make mistakes, and that's it. You have to do the video, and you have to put it on, otherwise you lose $10,000. They tell you, they give you the countdown, how to smile. It's a whole thing. I mean, I laughed at myself because I should have played with it more. If I really knew that it wasn't like one of my videos that I produce on the street. Yeah, I pray. You know, sometimes you think I'm spontaneous. I practice my videos. Yes, I practice acting crazy. I don't really practice acting crazy. I'm joking with you, but, you know, I'm not crazy, you know, but sometimes you think it looks like it in 2 minutes. So, but I practice those videos. Sometimes I have to do the videos 4, 5, 6 times over. I mean, I got the basics down. I know how to say it, but I make a mistake or I forget something. And most of the time I even forget, I get off of topic, but I like the way the ending is because it's spontaneous. It's from the heart. When I'm pitching to you, I'm not pitching any lies. I'm pitching you from the heart. I'm pitching you the truth. I'm pitching you that I care. You know, again, today a client comes in and says, Heshy, you're not leaving in 2 months. You have to help me with my house. Today, he's almost done, but he needs paperwork and inspections. I said, woman, I'm leaving. You played around. You took so long. You did this wrong. I had to fix you. I said, I don't know what you want me to do. What, do you think I'm going to be here forever for you? He says, oh, I paid you. I said, I did all my services. This is a new part of the subject. I want you here till I finish. And I go do a lot of free inspections. I do a lot of pro bono work. They're saying that it's not fair I run for election. I said, but I can do more for other people. No, do for us. Do for me. Don't get me wrong. I help everybody. And you're right. They believe that I should be, and they pay me. Don't worry about the other people who don't care about you. That's what they're telling me. He says, you didn't get elected before. I think I could get elected. I think I can beat Carmen Yeager. Now, I know, again, I'm running on subject of myself. But it's not me. Of course I want to be elected. It's you people. If you're not going to make the change, if you're not going to get up, you're not going to go vote, you're not going to make the change, what are you complaining? Oh, you want me to work in the private sector to fight you? You know how hard that is? Oh, Heshy, you're going to be like them when you get elected. How do you know? Do you not know me for 30, 40 years? A lot of your times you're elected officials, you don't know either side. So they have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars to get you to know them. You never seen them work. You don't know their history. People tell you about them. They tell you the good things about them. You never met them. My people in my community most meet me. I stop on the street to talk to everybody. Kids today came in Heshy like they're my friends, and I take them in. I open the door. I talk to people. I meet people. I knock on their doors. I go visit them. I do the inspections. I have my team working for them. If I can't do something, I always reply. I tell everybody, if I didn't reply, send me a text and an email, and I'll try to reply because I get hundreds of emails a day. We're coming to the end of the show. And there's a local issue here. And you're going to see again, Heshy, with your local issue, but it affects all over New York City. Mayor Adams and the building department have a strict rule on zoning. You build 2 inches more or 2 feet more, we're going to knock it down. We're going to stop your job. We're not going to get you a C of O. The bank is not going to give you, really, they give you a hard time. But if some big developer who's their donor or their friend, you know what happens? Let me tell you what happens. They get permission to build illegally. There's a project here that I went to the community board. This developer who bought a bunch of lots could only build 3-family houses. He can build maybe about 10, 12, maybe 14 apartments if he designs it right. He now wants to build 49 apartments plus 6 luxury apartments. Give a few to the low income or affordable housing program. But who's going to get that? He's going to set up an independent group to monitor it and give it to the local community. But that's a lie, because we just did that 2 years ago with the homeless apartments, and 30% was supposed to go to the community. Not one apartment went. They also sent up an independent, and even the independent organization or body or this committee that's out to interview the local people, you know what happens? Let me tell you what happens. The owner still gets to decide. It's only a recommendation and an interview and a request. So it's all a lie. Now, this guy next to these 2-story, 3-story, 1-family houses that people put $1 million and $2 million into the houses plus bought $1 million for the property. Couldn't build an extra inch. Couldn't build an extra rental apartment so they can make an extra $2,000, $3,000 a month in a beautiful neighborhood. They want to bring in this low affordable housing monster. So now there's a big 8-story building. Now, I get angry when people scream at their neighbor for blocking their sunlight. We're not really blocking your sunlight. We're building another floor, or we're building a little extension. You could do the same thing. You're just jealous. Nobody's stopping you. Here, these guys we're giving them everything they want, and now they want more. Not more, they want double. They want to make money while we couldn't make money. Let all of us, and everybody's saying, oh, the ugliness. I don't care that they build. Be my guest. Make a profit, but why weren't the rest of us? Mayor Adams is picking nice neighborhoods to put his homeless and low-income housing because most of us are scared and we keep our mouths shut. So he's picking neighborhoods right in the center. Go build normal housing for the homeless. They'll come. Give them proper shelters and find different areas that need gentrifying, that need to be built up, that buy a building that's going bankrupt, make a deal with the owner, say, listen, you're going bankrupt. You're going to lose the house. Let you save the house. Let me rebuild it for you. Let me make it better and nicer if it's falling apart. Instead of evicting you, and I'll give you something, but let me have others in there. Make a deal with them. Or houses that have been taken away. Right now, I took over a building that was receivership. A lot of people came to me. Oh, I want the apartment for my kid, my daughter and son. I said, I want to give it to people that need it. Not poor people on the street or homeless, which I did find somebody. People that need the use of the apartment. And I took in interviews, hundreds of the applications. And I reviewed them. And I gave it to people that were qualified, of course, but people that needed them. People that told me, listen, Heshy, I have money, I have a good job, but I can't find a good apartment. I need a place to live. I need a place to rest my head. These are not big apartments. They do pretty well, these people. It's 1,200 square feet. These are people that want to keep their places nice, want it to be their home. And you find the people that are not only qualified, but actually want to keep their home. When I was a tenant, I painted, I cleaned, I mopped outside. My tenants by my house sweep the garbage. They complain to me about the garbage. They help with the house. They help other people in the house. You work together. That's what called a neighbor. I believe New York City is one big neighborhood, or Borough Park and Flatbush's. We have to help one another. Oh, Heshy, you're so idealistic. You're in Dream Planet. That's right. That's right. I wake up every morning and I ask God, what tasks do you have for me today? What mission do you have me set on? I do the mission, you know why? Because I believe in God. Of course I want to make a profit. Of course I want to make money. But we must go out. Just like I wake up Linda every morning and I say the words. And Linda says, you're handsome. Do I really need to hear it? Yes. Yes. That's her job. To make me go out and be a better man. Matter of fact, today Linda hung out with me all day long. And she brought along these muffins for herself, dietetic muffins. And I don't know what happened. She put it down and I picked it up and took a bite out of it. I put it back and I said, I'm sorry. She says, no, you're my husband. Be my guest. I enjoy when you share with me my food. And I was like, really, Linda? Yeah. And then she handed me a Snapple. I said, drink. Because we didn't have any cold water. And I was like, you think I need $1 million and stuff? I could yours always $1 million. Trust me, guys, I could do. But little things like that make you happy when you're nice to another person. Anyways, I know I jumped the guns. I think I covered everything on my list today. Really, I had more, but I didn't want to make you too bored of what I have to say. I want to say one more thing. Happy birthday, 75 years, Israel. My cousin, who is still alive, 94 years old, 95, who's been there since the beginning of its country and helped build a lot of it, and has 94 grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and his family has fought in every war since 1945, and they lost one person in Lebanon. Happy birthday, Israel. Happy birthday to your country. Keep growing, keep fighting. I know you have the same political animals like we have here, but freedom is worth the fight. Freedom is worth the fight. I don't know how to say it again to you. Have a good night. Have a great week. Be safe, my dear friends. God bless New York City. God bless this great country. Thank you. Come back next Wednesday. I'm going to have Pastor McCall on my show while I fight with him about how he is not helping save New York City and its soul of the city. I want the soul of the city saved, not just him going out screaming and hollering. He can bring us to a higher level, but maybe I don't understand. See you next week, Pastor McCall. See you next week, everybody. Good night.